Let's talk injuries. The official report dropped late Friday and updated Saturday. And here's what stands out. Noah Fant, out with a concussion. He's been the quiet X factor in this passing game, ranking third on the team in receiving yards, right behind Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and tied with Higgins for second in total targets. His absence means quarterback Jake Browning will need to spread the ball around even more. Shamar Stewart, still dealing with that ankle issue. Coaches think this could be his last missed game, but it's a situation to monitor. Taylor-Britt, positive news here. Coach Zac Taylor expects him to play, and the extra day before Monday night helps a lot. Samaj Perini, probable despite a thumb injury, and his toughness could be key in Denver's thin air. Dalton Risner, trending towards suiting up after a week nursing a calf strain. The headline, of course, is Fant. Losing a security blanket like that changes the passing rhythm. Expect more snaps from Mike Gesicki and maybe a heavier workload for the backs in short yardage situations. That's the latest as the Bengals set their sights on a big road win. Stick around. There's plenty more Bengals talk coming up next. The Bengals passing game has to wake up. With Noah Fant sidelined, Jake Browning can't afford to hesitate. He needs to lock in with his playmakers early and often. Through the first stretch of the season, he spread about 10 targets to secondary options. But Monday night in Denver demands more than quick checkdowns. Browning must create rhythm throws, keep the chains moving, and test a Broncos defense that's vulnerable over the middle. Defense getting healthier. On the other side of the ball, the cornerback group finally shows signs of life. Taylor-Britt is set to return, and that's huge. Rookie DJ Turner played through a nagging hamstring last week and should be closer to full speed now. Taylor-Britt's year has been a roller coaster. He struggled badly in the opener against Cleveland, but bounced back in week 2 against Jacksonville, where he was targeted 3 times and allowed 0 completions. That kind of lockdown performance is exactly what Cincinnati needs to slow Denver's outside threats. If this defense can tighten up and the offense finds consistency, the Bengals have every chance to steal a critical road win under the Monday night lights. Taylor-Britt's bounce back is one of the quiet stories of this early season. Just look at the numbers. A rough 36.3 PFF coverage grade in the opener against Cleveland, then a massive leap to 86.2 versus Jacksonville. That kind of turnaround tells you how much he can influence this secondary. If the Bengals are going to escape Denver with a win, Taylor-Britt has to keep locking down receivers and setting the tone on the back end. What's wild is how much this team is leaning on its defense. Back in August, most of us expected Joe Burrow's offense to carry the load. Instead, it's Lou Anarumo's unit keeping Cincinnati in games. They're tackling better, limiting explosive plays, and creating just enough pressure to rattle quarterbacks. Right now, if you had to put your faith in one side of the ball, where are you leaning? Offense or defense? I know my answer. The defense is earning trust every single week, finding a spark on offense. That doesn't mean the offense is off the hook. The run game, in particular, needs a jolt. Samaj Perini showed last week why he deserves more touches, ripping off a clutch 3rd and 12 run to keep a drive alive. He finished with only 4 carries for 21 yards, but every time he touched the ball, he looked decisive. Rookie Taj Brooks could also provide a change of pace, especially with Chase Brown struggling to find consistent lanes behind an up and down offensive line. Mixing these backs, Perini's power, Brooks's burst, Brown's versatility, might be exactly what offensive coordinator Brian Callahan needs to slow Denver's pass rush and keep drives moving until the passing game finds its rhythm without Noah Fant. Cincinnati has to manufacture balance on the ground. The formula for Monday night is clear. A disciplined defense that keeps the Broncos contained, and an offense willing to adjust on the fly. If the Bengals can get both sides humming, Mile High might just turn into Houday country. As kickoff in Denver gets closer, one issue looms larger than anything else. Cincinnati's offensive line versus the Broncos' relentless front 7. The Bengals can scheme all the creative plays they want, but if Jake Browning doesn't have time to breathe, the game plan won't matter. Let's be honest. Last week against Minnesota, protection was shaky at best. Rookie Amarius Mims was the lone bright spot, grading out as the only lineman even close to solid. Everyone else struggled, and the Vikings' pass rush made sure the box score reflected it. Now comes a Denver defense that's been feasting on quarterbacks. According to early season tracking, the Broncos have already piled up over 80 total pressures. Edge rushers Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper have been explosive off the snap, combining speed and power that can wreck a play before it starts. Inside, DJ Jones is doing the dirty work, maybe not posting gaudy numbers, but blowing up blocking schemes and forcing runners to bounce outside. Those are the hidden plays that turn 2nd and 4 into 3rd and long. This matchup is as much about attitude as technique. Cincinnati's linemen have to win their one-on-one battles, stay disciplined with snap counts in the thin mile-high air, and communicate on every stunt or delayed blitz. If they can give Browning even an extra half second, the Bengals' skill players can attack a Denver secondary that has shown cracks when forced to cover for too long. The Broncos might only be a few plays away from an undefeated record, but the Bengals have the talent to spoil their night. It starts, and could end, with the men up front. Denver's defense isn't the only reason Bengals fans are uneasy. Cincinnati's own protection issues make this matchup even scarier. The Broncos may have lost their last 2 games on last-second field goals, but their pass rush has been relentless all season. That's a dangerous combination for a Bengals front that's coming off one of its worst outings. Start with Orlando Brown Jr. His performance against Minnesota was rough from the opening series, and the low PFF grades only tell part of the story. He gave up pressures, allowed hits, and never looked comfortable handling speed off the edge. To his credit, Brown owned up to it during the week, promising a cleaner game. But words won't quiet the noise. Only a strong Monday night showing will. Inside, the concerns keep coming. Dylan Fairchild, a top 100 draft pick expected to bring stability, has been up and down all season and struggled mightily against the Vikings' interior rush. Ted Karras, fresh off a 1-year extension, hasn't found his footing either, and his early season miscommunications have stalled drives. It's a familiar frustration for Bengals fans. For years, the offensive line has been blamed for Joe Burrow scrambling for his life and taking unnecessary punishment. Now, even with a different quarterback in Jake Browning, the same cracks are showing. At some point, it's not about play calling or scheme. It's about winning individual matchups and taking pride in protecting the pocket. If this line can't tighten up, the Broncos' defense will feast and the game could slip away early. But if Brown, Fairchild, Karras, and company rise to the challenge, Cincinnati has the weapons to flip the script and walk out of Mile High with a statement win. The offensive line shuffle isn't slowing down. Veteran center Lucas Patrick went down early in the opener, and free agent prize Dalton Risner, expected to steady the interior, hasn't delivered. His footwork has been inconsistent, his leverage sloppy, and defenders are winning too many first steps. That opens the door for rookie Jalen Rivers, who has impressed in limited snaps with quick hands and a mean streak that coaches love. If you were Zac Taylor, who gets the nod at right guard Monday night? Risner's experience or Rivers' upside? It's a pivotal decision with Denver's defensive tackles already licking their chops. Zac Taylor on the clock. Beyond the lineup choices, the spotlight is squarely on the head coach. Taylor's record without Joe Burrow isn't pretty, and this matchup is another chance to prove he can scheme a win when his star quarterback isn't under center. The surprise factor of Jake Browning is gone. Denver will be ready. Critics have pointed out how predictable the offense has become. Film studies show that when Cincinnati lines up in 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, and motions one across the formation, the play is a straightforward power run almost every time. Defenses know it. There's been little in the way of counterplays or play-action wrinkles to keep opponents honest. Monday night demands creativity. Taylor has to break those tendencies, design quick reads for Browning, and put the ball in the hands of his best weapons, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, before Denver's pass rush closes in. Screens, misdirection, maybe even tempo changes. Anything to stop the Broncos from teeing off on obvious calls. The formula is simple but urgent. Set Rivers or Risner. Protect the pocket. Stay unpredictable. And feed your stars. If Taylor can pull that off, the Bengals can leave mile high with more than just a win. They'll leave with proof that this team can fight through adversity and stay in the AFC playoff race.